Rock on, and welcome to another Godfather Minute. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And together we're the Godfather Minute Brothers. Here to talk about minute number 11.
That's right, you heard it. We're counting down from 11.
Minuto numero 11.
Oh, that was a great guess. We got to flip it.
Uno dice numero minuto.
You're right, it's undici.
Undici.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I wasn't too far off.
You'd be a great morning zoo DJ. Except they don't like to wake up early in the morning. Maybe you could pre-record them all that night.
Yeah, well, or I could move to like another time zone where for me it'll be the evening, but for you suckers
you'd move to like England, so
yeah,
like
totally.
it'd be noon there and 6 a.m. here.
I'll be like, blimey, good morning, folks.
Undici minute, undici.
Anyway, let's talk about minute number 11.
Let's do it. Are you saying this minute goes up to 11?
All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Where can you go? Nowhere, because you've got smallpox. Vito Corleone, young Vito Corleone is diagnosed with smallpox and begins his 3-month quarantine in the land of freedom. Mm-hmm. He sings.
That was awesome.
Thanks.
That was poetic. It really was. He sings. Like the end. Hey, going back to the Spinal Tap thing one more time.
Yeah.
Well, huh? Can I touch it? No, don't even touch it. It has smallpox. Well, what do you think of the minute, Alex? Overall impression, big picture before we drill down.
It's pretty uneventful. I mean, it is eventful because we get to find out that the Don has smallpox, but there's not a lot of like dialogue or anything. Yeah. Nothing meaty to chew into.
So you're already rating it low.
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I have an update for something we talked about last week.
Yeah, I have two. We will answer, which we never resolved.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look them up. That's kind of your thing. So sorry, I didn't give you much notice. Yeah, you didn't remember from
slightly before we start recording. Would be a little bit more.
You don't
helpful.
Remember them from last week?
Well, one of them I do have.
Okay,
which is where was this filmed?
Ah, that was one of the two I had.
Yes. Is this really filmed at Ellis Island? It was not open as a museum at the time. So what's the deal? And so the question is, where were the Ellis Island scenes filmed? And the answer may surprise you. Stay tuned after this. Now we put it behind the paywall.
Yeah, no, we're going to do it next week now, right?
It was not filmed in Ellis Island. In fact, it wasn't filmed in America at all.
What?
It was filmed in Italy.
Really?
It was filmed in the town of, I hope I'm not, Trieste. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Trieste. Trieste, Italy. It used to be an old fish market. And it's since been renovated, and it's called something like the Department of Enchantment or something. I think they turned it into like a tourist kind of museum or something like that.
What do you mean, because of The Godfather?
I don't know about that.
Oh, wow.
But because it used to be a fish market, and now it's a new thing called something like the Department of Enchantment.
Wow. That sounds like a great
not
department
even filmed
to work
in America.
for.
Can you imagine?
That's crazy. So tell us more. Did they do this because they were already filming in scenes in Sicily?
Well, probably, because the kid had it, rather than bring the kid all the way to America, it was probably easier to just find a place in Italy. Not even in Sicily, though, in Italy.
So instead of bringing one kid to America, you got to bring an entire production crew, get them visas.
Plus all those immigrants. Like, they had to get all those immigrants from all those different countries to be there on the set. So that kid was really in demand. So they really had to go around.
He must have had some leverage against Francis Ford Coppola.
Well, I don't think it was more just the fact that Marlon Brando was so expensive that like to get him to do this, they had said, okay, we have to make it as convenient as possible, and so
for the kid who's playing Vito Corleone.
Well, that's Marlon Brando.
Oh, Marlon Brando.
That's how good of an actor he is. That he's playing young.
I know. Well, and I remember when Francis Ford Coppola went to the actor playing or went to Marlon Brando, young Marlon Brando. They said, "Hey, do you come to America and we'll film you there?" He's like, "No, you must come to Sicily. That's the only place I'll act." Oh, that could be our Godfather musical, Alex.
That's true. Ironically, you only see him from the back, so that's not even really Marlon Brando singing. That's totally someone dubbed in as
wow,
because they couldn't, because Marlon Brando would have demanded extra money to sing.
No, I won't sing in America.
I could have been a contender.
He originally sang it, but Francis Ford Coppola was like, we're going to overdub it.
It was, is this, so does that, an overdub alert is what you're saying?
Overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert, overdub alert.
Yeah, nice one.
Thanks to movielocations.com. Movielocations.com. If you want to locate something that was filmed in a movie, go to movielocations.com.
He sings.
Now, what is the other we answered that I've not answered?
Right? You're never going to remember this one.
Yeah. I'm glad you're asking me at the beginning of the episode, too.
Does Benetton still exist?
Oh, that seems like it should be easy enough to answer. You start talking while I look it up.
Okay, so the question is, and I'll cue up the music. The question is, does Benetton still? I need to give him time. Does Benetton, the company that was famous or infamous,
Siri, what is Benetton?
Does it exist?
Benetton clothing.
And as a reminder to our audience,
yes,
we asked this question last week because we thought that the scene on Ellis Island was like a Colors of Benetton commercial. Does it exist, Alex?
Benetton does in fact exist. There you go.
Okay, so they're still selling clothes.
If you go to Benetton.com, it's and they even have rainbow stripes as their
thing.
Still their gimmick. Although there are two white models, so maybe they've moved off brand a little bit. Because when we were younger, Benetton's whole gimmick was that they would use very multicultural models.
Yeah,
which was very shocking. It was provocative.
Yeah,
at the time.
They were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
I want to point out, Alex, you just called it a gimmick.
A gimmick? Okay. Yeah.
So you don't think it was legitimate?
Well, I mean, I think they legitimately used those models in. I don't think it was like CGI or anything.
Okay.
I guess I mean gimmick it was the thing that made them stand out. That was their.
Yeah.
That was the thing that made them unique. Was that their ads had feature a lot of multicultural people.
Okay.
I was not meaning to denigrate the fine people of Benetton or any of the models or any of that stuff. I have nothing but respect. And I own stock in AT&T, and it's my right to do so.
This podcaster deserves an apology, Senator.
Maybe not now, maybe 10 years from now.
You've besmirched his name.
Well, good. So now I'm glad we covered both of them. Now we asked,
we answered. What else you got, Alex? I got a few things. I got a few clarifying questions about this minute. A few mysteries.
Well, go ahead. Why don't you say one of your mysteries? Why don't you give us one of those Andy Robinson mysteries?
Well, first of all, I want to point out...
Who is the real Andy Robinson? Trying to squeeze in as many theme songs today as possible.
Yeah, there's been a jingle renaissance. I feel like to kick off GF2, we've been accessing some of those old ones.
Speaking of which, what's the update on the next countdown to Frank Pantangeli?
I'm working on it, Alex.
All right.
We have a few weeks left, but I'm working on it.
What is another mystery you're going to give us right now?
Did the so in this minute, there's a doctor who tells the interpreter to tell young Vito Corleone that he has smallpox and to quarantine for 3 months.
Yes.
Who did the doctor look like to you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't try not to look at doctors in the face, but who did he look like to you?
Are you trying to tell me he did not look like Enzo the baker? I think it's the same actor.
That seems like it would be easy enough to check.
Check it. We'll ask.
We'll answer. We'll do it for your father.
Anyway, I just want to point that out. It was stunning. I was like, this can't be. It
Really
can't
be
be.
careful. You're really teetering on the edge of racist kind of like, all those Italians look kind of similar.
No, I don't think he's Italian because he uses an interpreter. He says the interpreter will tell him.
I thought that was just because he had a grudge against Vito Corleone. So he's like, tell him that he has smallpox. Then Vito's like, tell that doctor, I don't care what he says.
Tell this
shot tells me.
I never wanted smallpox for you. All right.
Interesting. I'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah,
Check it out. People should check it out and weigh in. Go to Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse nightclub and tell us if you think Enzo... I guess, could that be...
does the doctor look like Enzo the baker?
Yes. So would that be Enzo's father? Would it be Nazarene? Because he doesn't look like Nazarene. Nazarene's not really his father.
Nazarene is the father, or is the father-in-law, right?
The soon-to-be father-in-law.
Enzo is the younger guy.
Enzo is the baker.
Sorry, and then he looks like Nazarene.
Oh, he looks like Nazarene.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I think it's him.
Okay.
So I asked, you'll answer.
Oh, wow. So now it's much more
It's
complicated.
tit for tat, Alex. You lay jingles on me. I'm going to start like bombarding you with questions.
Fair enough.
Here we go.
Yes.
Are all the people in this room Italian? I don't mean this room we're in now. In the scene in the minute. Because there's one other person sitting at the table with the doctor, and it's the Italian interpreter. Unless this woman happens to speak many languages, which you pointed out last week.
The average of 3 languages.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm going to guess probably yes.
Yeah, because he says, tell him to go to this room.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing it's all people that were on that same ship and they all have smallpox.
Or just all people who they might suspect of having smallpox.
Yeah. But wouldn't it make sense if they traveled together that they would have...
Well, as we learned last week, at one point they had 12,000 people going through there in a single day. So if it was a busy day like that, then there could have been all sorts of people mixed. I mean, as you saw in the lobby, there was like people from all over the place there.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine all those people going through there every day? Can you imagine how many people were left waiting in the lobby? Wait, are you trying to? Wait, are you trying? I can't do a good Fredo. Are you trying to tell me you can't even get in to see the clerk?
It's pretty good. Wait, you say the Turk?
No, the clerk.
Oh, the clerk.
The Ellis Island clerk.
Got it.
He's got me quarantined for 3 months.
Well, so that was going to... Yeah, so...
Frankie's quarantined at Lake Tahoe for 3 months.
Hey, it could be worse in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the scene of all these guys there with their shirts off and skinny Vito Corleone and all these other guys hanging out there. It's funny. Yeah. But smallpox.
Yes, I knew you were going to do the research.
I did the research about smallpox.
Tell us about it.
Well, smallpox, thankfully, does not exist in the wild anymore. Only exists in laboratories. It was the last case in the wild was 1977, and it was 1980. The whoever's the disease people, the World Health Organization, maybe.
Yeah. The who? The World Health Organization. I just told you. Yeah, the who?
They declared it eradicated in 1980, so we're now going on 41 years of no. But prior to that, it was one of the major diseases that people lived in terror of.
Wow! Even in the 20th century?
Even in the 20th century,
wow.
In the 100 years before it was eradicated, so presumably that is 1880 to 1980, 500 million people died from smallpox.
From 1880 to 1980.
From 1880 to 1980.
Whoa.
Seems very, very high.
That's a lot of people.
It is. It has a 30% fatality rate.
Wow, that's crazy. I know smallpox was...
Why did you say you know someone who has
No.
smallpox?
It was one of the leading
Good.
causes of death of indigenous people when the Europeans came to the, quote, New World.
Yes. In fact, the British Empire specifically used it as a biological weapon.
Oh,
Would give
man.
the Indians, the Native Americans... infected blankets, and at one point there's some diary and he's like, where some guy had a meeting with one of the local chiefs or whatever, and he's like, I gave him the handkerchief, which I hope will have the results that we are looking for.
Oh,
so
man.
creepy. I mean,
How was it passed on?
just by
Just like respiratory droplets,
that kind
contact,
of thing.
everything.
So
Damn, 30%.
yeah, so the early signs are fever, in case you're curious. A fever and mouth sores and vomiting are the early symptoms.
Oh, those are the early signs? Oh, no, thank you.
And then later on is where you get the characteristic, you get blisters all over your skin that scab up.
And those are called pox, right?
Those are called pox, yes. It's those if you survive smallpox, you can leave that distinctive, like giving you that... I guess what now we would call like a crater face look.
Yeah.
That sort of. It's
Wow.
called smallpox to differentiate it from the Greatpox, which is syphilis, which has bigger sores.
Oh, I didn't know you got pox from syphilis.
Yeah. So that's why they started calling it the smallpox as opposed to
Yeah.
Greatpox, because that's smaller little things.
Yeah. Wow. The great pox.
Yeah, the great. It's not that great. I don't know why
Yeah.
they
It
call that.
doesn't sound so great.
In 18th century Europe, 400,000 people died in 1 year from
gosh.
smallpox.
Wow. And treatment?
The treatment just seems you just kind of ride it out. One of the early signs is sneezing.
So there is no medicine. You just wrote it out.
Yeah, just
Wow.
they put hot comp. Plus, don't forget, prior to the 20th century, there was hardly any real medicine for anything.
And that's what I wanted to point out too, is that this doctor and interpreter are standing in this room with these 15 guys. I'm assuming they all have smallpox.
Or at least are suspected of it. Vaccines were invented fairly early in the 1500s by the Chinese.
Really?
They didn't call them a vaccine, but they said that by giving people a small amount of smallpox, sometimes that can make them, because once you get it, you're safe. So,
Yeah.
So hopefully those doctors and people either already had it and were thus immune, or they did the vaccine style thing.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Some famous smallpox sufferers from history. Sitting Bull, who died from it, and people who survived it include President George Washington.
Wow.
They think that's why he was sterile. He never had any biological children of his own, and the theory now is that it was because of the smallpox he suffered when he was younger. It messed up his
Shooting blanks.
shooting blanks.
Are you trying to tell me the father of our country,
It's ironic.
who beat the British,
It's kings of smallpox.
was shooting blanks?
Shooting blanks, except when he was shooting the British. Then he was shooting musket
You're
balls.
saying his musket had no powder. Are you trying to tell me?
There was a lot of money in that white powder, and he didn't have any of it. Andrew Jackson, famous, another great man in history.
Smallpox.
Abraham Lincoln and Joseph Stalin. Lincoln had it while he was president.
Really?
They think he got it from his son, Tad Lincoln, who died while he was in office.
Did he die of smallpox?
Abraham Lincoln?
No. John Wilkes Booth shot it right into the back of his head.
Yeah, ironically, he would have died of smallpox in another day or two anyways.
That's some fast acting disease.
They don't nowadays. We don't really know what killed Ted Lincoln, but I guess some of one of the theories is smallpox.
Smallpox.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Joseph Stalin, and he famously had a very bad complexion from
That's right.
smallpox. And that's all the information I have about smallpox. So thank God that's gone.
Yeah. Modern medicine.
Yeah, as at one point in the 90s, Maybe not. Anyway, at some point, the Soviet Union, before it was dissolved, was busted trying to come up with a weaponized version of smallpox.
Oh my gosh!
And not surprisingly, it got loose in the lab, killed a bunch of the Russian scientists, and then they were like, "Okay, we're not gonna mess around with this anymore."
Yeah. I was watching a documentary on Netflix about pirates. That period in when was it? 1700s, early 1700s, I think. Yeah, it was before American independence, and a bunch of those pirates got syphilis.
Oh yeah,
which was really nasty.
Yeah,
it made you go crazy. But there was
blind or insane.
Yeah, there was a Yellowbeard.
Yellowbeard,
or is that his name? Was it not Yellowbeard? Bluebeard? Blackbeard.
There were a couple of different beards. Yellowbeard is a movie of Graham Chapman movie.
We almost watched that the other day. That's what I was thinking. Is it Blackbeard? Yeah, he was the famous one. So he was going crazy.
Yeah.
That's probably why he took on that persona of Blackbeard. He was losing his mind. The reason I brought it up is because there was a myth, and it's turned out not to be true. I guess that's what makes it a myth. That it could be treated or cured by injecting mercury directly into. You get the point.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take my chances with the syphilis.
And I'll take my chances with Greatpox. No, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, imagine how anyone listening to this, be grateful. As bad as things might be grateful we live in the 21st century with modern medicine.
Yeah. Dentistry,
everything, anesthesia, antibiotics.
Yeah.
Antibiotics probably aren't going to be around much longer because they think all these super bugs are going to beat it.
Yeah.
This will be seen as a golden age of medicine where we're like, people used to just take pills for 8 days.
Yeah.
And sometimes they wouldn't even do it the whole time. They would take it till they felt better and then they would just stop. That's why everyone got in this mess.
People used to go to locations where they would be in close proximity with each other. They didn't need latex bubbles. Well, I got a few other things.
Well, one last thing also, that there's occasionally, even now, in the anti-immigrant hysteria, people they show pictures and they go, look, these are immigrants who are sneaking into America and they have smallpox. And there's been no confirmed cases. There was a famous picture going around, but apparently that man had chickenpox, which looks very similar to the smallpox.
Yeah.
So
if syphilis is the Greatpox,
yes,
and smallpox are the smallpox, what are chickenpox?
They're the medium. They're
it sounds like a joke,
right, just right pox. Not too straight, not too small, just right. I guess it is because you don't die from it mostly. So so that's probably is the best of it.
Yeah.
It must be kind of insulting to chickenpox that it's called chickenpox because it makes it sound so like wimpy.
Yeah, it's like, and it tastes like chicken, just has no defining traits.
Yeah.
Nothing unique, nothing distinct.
Like vulture pox or something like that. A little bit more kick to it than
what would be a better name? Chicken pox or medium pox?
I don't know. Even
I think we talked about this when we were discussing another disease, that if you, Alex, were going to get sick with...
Are you asking me who is the real Alex Robinson?
Who is the real Alex Robinson?
You got it, punk. Would you rather, assuming you lived, would you rather have gotten sick with syphilis, something called mediumpox, or smallpox? Just as a name. And then the question 2 is going to be, if you were the disease, what name would you want?
Wait, so what are the choices? Syphilis, mediumpox, or smallpox?
Or smallpox.
And I survived it?
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to say smallpox.
Yeah, really? More so than medium pox?
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as medium pox. You wouldn't know what I was talking about.
People would think you're making it up.
Yeah. And also it doesn't sound like it's very threatening because medium right there is in the... Shut up.
That's why they call it chicken pox, because you're too scared to get it.
No, I've never had chicken pox.
Oh, no?
No.
Huh.
Every time
We need to take you to a chicken pox party, like a second grade chicken
the
pox
problem is
party.
the older you are when you get it, the worse it is.
I know. That's why they call it chicken pox.
Oh, cocorico. Every time I tell that to our mother, she goes, "What?" She's outraged that I haven't had it. And I'm like, whose fault is that?
Yeah, she was, because I didn't have it. She was supposed to take us to one of those
I know.
chicken pox parties when we were a kid. I didn't have it until I was in college.
Well,
And
was
not
it-
only that, until I was studying abroad in Costa Rica. And it was the first month I was down there in a new country, barely spoke the language, and I wasn't feeling well. And my host mother, because I was staying with a host
Doña
family,
Daisy.
Doña Daisy, said, "Oh, Andres," she said it in Spanish, she's like, "Oh, you need to be really careful because Marco, her son, my host brother, just came down with la varicela." And she opened my hand and gave me this thing of plastic. She said, "Carry this around and this will help you not get it." And I said, first of all, I said, ¿Qué es
Like, I don't speak
varicela?
Spanish.
I said, "Who are you? What?" I was all feverish. I had all these medium pox on my face. By the way, is it plural? Is it poxes?
Pox eye?
Pox eye. You got the medium pox eye. And so I looked it up.
Yes.
And la varicela is chicken pox. I was like, oh my gosh, I have chicken pox in Costa Rica. And I opened my hand. And what did she put in my hand? You get 3 guesses.
A piece of chicken?
No.
An infected handkerchief?
No.
$50?
I wish.
What?
Wow, we are funny.
Boy, I don't know what we're going to say next. I mean, I guess in this case I do because we're recording this after we finish the episode. So yeah, I do know what we're going to say next.
You do? Well, do you want to share it? Give a little some teasers? I know we talk, of course, about Hyman Roth
Of course.
and his fixation with foodstuffs.
We discover a new Hyman Roth theory. We talk about smallpox, the history of smallpox, and how many people get it.
We talk about a little bit more about Vito's I almost said incarceration, quarantine, and his collaboration with Albert Einstein,
Yeah.
and other things too.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that.
So stick around. If you want to listen to the rest of the episode, go to godfatherminute.com/support, and it's just $1 a show, and it's your best dollar for dollar value.
And also, just as a reminder, we have reached our threshold to do the Godfather 3 recording, Godfather 3 commentary. So if you become a supporter, you'll get to hear that once we record it in a little while. Bye.